So there's this funny thing that happens when you get certified and you go out into the world or out into the wild, as I call it, and you start teaching yoga and you try really hard to be the best yoga instructor. You try to know how to perfectly pronounce everything in Sanskrit and know all the great inspirational quotes and lead perfectly and beautifully and have everything flow. And sometimes we get into the weeds and we get way too freaking serious about it, like beyond to the point where it feels more like a discipline. It feels more like it makes this feeling amongst your students feel like, well, I've got to be quiet and fall in line. And if anyone else in the room falls outside of that line, you see them look like with judgment. How dare you? How dare you? Now, I'm not saying class should be disrupted. I'm not saying people should be allowed to run amok and talk while you're talking and whip their mats around. I mean, there's definitely some etiquette that goes into setting a good scene in a yoga class and just maintaining your space. And we'll talk about that. That's a whole nother topic for another day, just, having the authority of your space. But in general, we don't have to be so stinking serious. And when I see as a yoga student, these people, these very serious students in class, like I cannot help but chuckle at them. And I remember being the teacher and even a student at times where I was taking things way too seriously. Now, tuning in yoga, tuning inward and really getting into yourself is not, supposed to be some laughing matter, I suppose. But it doesn't need to be super serious. And you're seriously cutting yourself off from the energy flowing when you get into that sort of state. So you can still have a great class, you can still have a great experience if you have a little lightheartedness the whole way through. It is so important to add some fun into your classes, and not every class has to be that way, but to sprinkle it in, to carry an air of some lightheartedness with you. Why this helps you, why it helps your classes and helps your students. And at the end, I'm going to also add in some of my favorite fun poses that I love to sprinkle into classes when I can tell that the students just need to break it up a little bit. They need to have a little more play in their lives. And that will be at the end, and I'll just run through those quickly. We won't do like a full yoga class. It's just something to show you some fun ways you can take normal everyday poses that you teach in your class and throw them in a fun way to your classes. You might even surprise your students if you didn't theme out your class for a fun thing. It just might be a fun way to play and see what happens. And you can also see the resistance that some of the students might have when the seriousness is broken. So let's dive into why this is so good. But before we do, I want to let you know who I am. If you don't know who I am, I'm Jennifer Sack, and I help yoga instructors who are maybe a little bit intimidated, who are stuck in self-doubt, who are maybe secretly marinating in some stress. And I help them get out of their heads into their hearts so they can find their own voice. They can lead with that grounded confidence and really just lean into your role as a inspirational and authentic wellness professional. And I am so stoked to talk about this today because I think that I can laugh now, just looking back at how many times I was really stuck in perfectionism and really stuck in ego-driven ways of just wanting to make sure that I thought that the students perceived me as really good. And a lot of that came from some insecurity, especially when I was new out there teaching. You go out there, you get certified, you learn all the stuff, the sequences, the names of the poses, how to, make a class, and maybe some Sanskrit, maybe some anatomy. But going out there and teaching a class is a whole nother thing. And it doesn't matter if you're doing it live in person, if you're filming it, if you are in a group setting, in a one-on-one setting, in a gym, in a studio. I have done it all. It all takes a certain finesse and some skill that comes along the way that can only come with practice. But you have to be able to laugh at yourself because it's not going to be perfect ever. And the more you strive to be that perfect high, like sort of spiritual guru, I mean, you're just it comes across as icky anyway, I think, and people can see through it. And it also is weird to have that air of it kind of creates this like I'm better than you because I'm up here and I'm spiritual and I know everything, and you're down here and you're here to learn from me. That's not helping anybody. So let's talk about that. That could be our first point, even in this, that this creates a relatability between you and your students. When you can laugh at yourself, when you have a lightheartedness in your teaching, your students are going to connect with you. They're not going to feel like they're putting you on a pedestal or they need to, or you're putting yourself on a pedestal. They need to bow down to you as the instructor. It makes it feel like, hey, we're in a room and we're doing this together and we're going to move through. We're going to see what happens and we're going to embrace the unknown as we move through. And instead of this place of like, I need to have it just right and breathe on cue. And what if I don't look like the person next to me? You create so much anxiety for your students. When you walk in with all this seriousness, it suddenly becomes way too disciplined and way too like they get very paranoid with everything they're doing. That's not helping them. They're supposed to be there to get in tune, to feel good, to be releasing the endorphins and all the things. You're not helping them if you're staying too serious. And I'm not saying you can't have serious moments and introspection and moments of real guided clarity that you can help them come up with. I mean, there are times when we dive into more of a serious place where it wouldn't even make sense to be laughing, but it's really the general way that you carry yourself when you're in there. What do you do when you mess up? When you fall or say something random, really wrong? Do you judge yourself? Because if you do, your students are automatically going to feel like you're going to judge them for maybe not doing something right, for maybe giving them a cue to fix their alignment, for anything, sneezing or coughing during class, because it happens. Let's honestly, they might fart, which should be fine anyway, but we don't want to draw attention. But here's the thing. When you judge yourself, even and you're serious about yourself and your teaching, that then makes your students feel self-conscious because now they feel like, oh my gosh, they take themselves so seriously. They're going to take me seriously, and I better button up. I better whip it into shape over here. And that's not a good way to feel in class. You want to feel accepted and loved and able to be as is. And like you fall and you come back into it, and that's part of the game. So don't come in all serious. Don't be serious about yourself at all. And it's going to help them feel so much more comfortable. This also just helps take the pressure off being perfect. I can't tell you how many times I over stressed about the sequence that I was about to do, the quotes, or there's so many aspects that I would like overthink in my head that I was stuck in perfectionism. Like if this didn't go right, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like nothing happens. If you forget the whole left side of a sequence, nothing happens. Like it's not, you're not going to walk in circles the rest of the day because your body's off. People, people who are perfectionists are going to get a little aggy about it in class, or they might just tell you, in which case you just laugh it off and work that into the sequence, or tell them, hey, I just want you to be able to go home and do some yoga on your own and do that later. That's your homework. You got to get rid of the perfectionism because you're not helping yourself by doing that. You're taking yourself out of the experience. And teaching a good yoga class is really about being very much in the experience, very much in flow. So you need to take away the perfectionism. And the greatest way to do that is to add some brevity, add some like lightness, add some like, whatever to it. Like have not, I don't want to say no importance placed on teaching a good class because clearly we care here. Clearly we want to do well and we want to provide a good experience, but over importance placed on how well you are really sort of work through that or lead the class is just harming you. It's totally harming the class. So by giving into a lightheartedness and some laughter and some joy in the process, you take that perfection totally out of the game and you're going to feel so much more in tune. And your execution of the class is really going to come more from a place of flow. You might even find yourself steering away from some of the things you had planned previously because you can just sense in the moment that's not what they need. that doesn't even feel appropriate anymore. But if you're so hyper focused on the perfectionism in every detail, you lose that magic, you lose that sort of touch that really makes a class special. And they will feel that either way on either side of the fence. So keep that in mind. So what happens when everybody relaxes and their guard comes down? They really enjoy class. That's what happens. And this isn't just because they don't feel judged. This is not because they are now no longer worried about their own perfectionism. It's also because literally physiologically they're being supported when they are feeling joy and laughter. When there's even just that one like funny thing, like you say, like, bring your cheese to your nest instead of your knees to your chest or something like that. And everybody breaks out in a laugh. There is this natural boost of like serotonin that happens and some dopamine hit that you get and you just feel good. The blood pressure comes down. It's said that the effects of a good laugh can physiologically be really good for your nervous system for up to 45 minutes. Isn't that crazy? One good belly laugh and you're like, yeah, I'm good for almost an hour. You're helping yourself out. So much goodness comes from letting your guard down, getting rid of the perfectionism, just laughing some of the things off. Yes, prepare. Yes, be planned. Yes, allow things to be structured, but you need to stop being so serious. Being serious doesn't, maybe to a new yogi, if you're super serious, they might be feel like, oh, wow, okay, this person knows their stuff. I better be good here. But to a seasoned yogi who loves taking yoga classes, they're going to look at you and be like, what is with this person? They need to get over themselves. So don't even try it. If that's you, if you've been teaching this way and you're like feeling like I'm talking to you and calling you out, this is your wake up call. Stop it. Nobody likes it. It's not cool. It's not cool. And there have been some of those super disciplined yoga instructors throughout the years. I mean, way back, it was a very disciplined. It started as a discipline. Okay. So I get that. I still think it is a discipline in a sense. It takes discipline to show up. It takes discipline to move through the whole class and not check your stinking phone. It takes discipline to ignore the other people around you and stay within your center. There's discipline happening all throughout class, but we don't have to be some disciplinarian that makes this a very unfun experience where we walk away feeling, either judged or unhappy or like we're better than others because, we did it better. That's like ego tripping. I hate that. And adding fun in there will take all that out. It'll eliminate it. And again, you don't have to be having this huge, grandiose experience the entire time where you're just like off the wall funny. I'm just saying, sprinkle this in and add it to your energy always when you're there. Don't take yourself seriously. And in the moments when you need to, tone it down and have that sort of seriousness to it, it'll be okay. They'll be shifting gears from this lighthearted space and this feeling of being able to relate to you and be comfortable with you with their guard down, that when they do shift into that serious moment, they feel safe and they'll get so much more out of it. They'll really drop in even better because their guard's not up. So it doesn't mean to say you can't have those moments because sometimes we're teaching classes that are for a more serious topic or theme, and where maybe we're diving deep and uncovering some things. But you can still help them by letting their guard down, allowing them to let their guard down, and letting them know that you're there with them. You're not up here, they're not down here, and there's no reason to be super serious. Okay. So there are several ways to make this happen. Like I said, you can just make sure you're laughing at yourself if funny things get said or the unexpected happens in class that you didn't anticipate, which will always happen. Making light of it. So that's a really easy way to incorporate this. Another fun thing to do is if you really do want to have a fun day, theme a whole class in a certain way. That is fun. And I'm going to do a whole different video or series on theming classes because that is something that I excel in, and I'd love to help you with that. But you can make a whole class fun. You can add in fun poses. You can add in fun visualizations, your meditations, your breath work, your mantras. Think about ways you can make these fun. And not only that, that's why I'm going to show you some fun poses here at the end that you can sprinkle in or make a whole class out of in order to help you with that. But also your playlist. Your playlist can be fun. I love playlist creation. I am not your typical, and I have some serious playlists. Okay, it's all yoga, it's chanting, it's the stuff that is what you think of when you think of yoga classes, right? I've got some of that. But I've got a lot of fun stuff cropping up in my classes in the playlist because it gets a laugh, it gets a smile. When you're doing yoga and the next thing you know, you break out to Day-O, you know, one day say, oh, no, not that one. But a fun song comes on, everybody knows it, everybody laughs. It's great. And I'm not saying throw in, something crazy, crazy. You could, but I mean, I've definitely played and stretched the boundary on the music that I play because music just brings people together. And what's better than them singing along as they do their yoga? I mean, that is like they're leaving there feeling high as a kite, feeling good. It's a great feeling. So play with your playlist. Don't be afraid to experiment. You can work them in a way that makes sense, that matches the energy of the class at that moment. Always very important. Be aware of the energetic quality of the music and the movement and the tone of the class at the moment. It's a beautiful dance, but that's a great way to help the lightheartedness of your class. So again, don't carry the air of perfectionism or being super serious. Sprinkle in some fun, unexpected moves that take an ordinary pose and make it lighthearted. Be able to laugh at the things, play with your playlist, theme out a class if you want to. I think there's so many ways that you can bring some fun and lightness into teaching yoga. And you don't have to do it every day, but there are some of these elements you should always apply, like the lightheartedness, like being able to laugh at yourself, like not taking things too seriously. So if you feel like this hits home for you and you're like, yeah, I think I could probably align a little differently here, I think it's a great idea to look through some other things in your life. Because if you're being too serious on the mat, you're most likely being too serious in other places of your life. I can pretty much guarantee it. It's not just in this aspect of your life. It's very important to have your life and your teachings aligned because then you come across as an authentic leader. You're not out there posing as anything. You're not putting on a mask when you go in to teach. You're just you showing up as you authentically, however, that may be. And it's nice to make sure that when you're talking to help other people that you're also, in alignment in your own life with these elements. Okay. So one way to sort of check yourself literally is with my Align Your Life free resource. It's a PDF and in it's going to have a 15-point checklist for you to go through and look at the different aspects and things and the way you lead and what you do in your personal life and go like, does this line up? Am I aligned here? Or do I need a little bit of help? So clicking these elements in. So it really is authentic. And that's not to judge you. It's just to do like a reality check on yourself. And who doesn't like a little personal growth? I mean, that's what most yoga teachers are well versed in personal growth. So grab that free Align Your Life with Your Teachings PDF. Link is in the description. And beyond that, keep watching because I'm going to just show you some of my fun ways to spice up regular old, poses that we do almost every day in class and make them more fun for you, for your students, so you can really add a lot of lightheartedness. So make your way to that. And after that, I just would thank you so much for hanging out with me today and stay tuned for more episodes I'm going to be throwing at you just regarding how you can show up in class, create a great class, be there, present, own that space, cut your own stress out, and be that authentic, grounded yoga teacher that you see yourself as. That you want to be, either you aspire to be, you once were, and you just need to get back there, maybe invigorate your teachings a bit. Keep coming back for more of that. Until next time, my friends. All right, thanks for sticking around. We're going to take 6 everyday moves that you teach on the regular, and we're going to make them more playful. Give them a go, try them for yourself, see what you think, change them up, but implement them in a way that just spices up your class. I hope you like them.
All right, starting in Tadasana. Inhale, sweep those arms up overhead, rise tall. Exhale, fold, hips back, arms back. Inhale, pick up that imaginary dandelion. Exhale to scatter the seeds. Repeat. Inhale, rise tall. Come on the balls of the feet. Exhale, long spine as you fold. Inhale, pick up that dandelion. Exhale, blow. Inhale, rise. Come on the balls of the feet. Exhale, hips back, arms back, fold. Inhale, pick up dandelion. Exhale, blow the seeds. Let's inhale, rise up, and exhale, land in mountain. Standing knee hold, stuck soldier, knee hip height, hand at the brow, core strong. You're going to make your way into warrior three. And this is turbulent jet plane, so add some movement. Really increase that strength, that balance by doing that. Make it more fun. Engage that core, soften the standing knee, and then draw that lifted knee up to the hip height again. Return to your stuck soldier. Hand at the brow, hand to the hip. Soften the knee. Press those hands together as you lean forward. There's your turbulent jet plane again. Add some movement. Have some fun there. Strong core, soft knees as you move. All right, setting up for warrior two. We're going to play in Cupid's arrow flow. Get your feet set up, bend that forward knee, sink down in the hips, and then take a big inhale as you sweep the back arm forward, palms meet. Exhale, draw the bow back, aim high, and let that arrow fly. Come back to your warrior two, arms level, and then inhale. Sweep that back arm forward. Exhale, raise the bow, and let the arrow fly. Warrior two, inhale, sweep ahead. Exhale, draw back and let it fly. All right, taking a normal flow that we typically do and turning it into something fun called the Spider-Man crawl. So walking your hands to the top of the mat into your plank pose, walking the hands back towards your standing forward fold, rolling up, finding your upward reach or your Urdhva Hastasana, and repeating. So not everybody can walk on fingertips. The strength of the hands is not always there, so they can flat palm it. But make sure that you are softening those knees every time you're transitioning through poses. So soft knees as you go towards your plank, soft knees as you return to your standing forward fold, roll up, long stretch, and then soft knees as you goal post those arms down and fold again. And just making this fun. Yes, it's not, anything crazy, but just by calling it a Spider-Man crawl and getting them into that playful energy is going to be so much fun. Next up, we are going to utilize a lot of balance and play as if we were Superman flying through the air. So that typical standing fold of the thread the needle legs, hips back and arms forward. Now, this can be hard on the neck to look forward, so they always need the option to look straight down at the mat, and they can try either way and feel what's good for them in their neck. So now, if that is too much, balance is not there for your crew, the option is to do Superman in flight down on the belly in the prone position. And this is almost like locust pose or Shalabhasana, but this gives you the opportunity to move the legs along with the arms and kind of get more of that flight action going, strong back, and it's super fun. All right, so we are making the shape of a pinwheel with our legs here. Front shin parallel to the top of the mat. Back knee is going to be somewhere in line with the hip and bend at the knee. Now, maybe 90 degrees with each knee, but your students need to be able to either move the shins or the knees where they're most comfortable. And then you can just pretend to blow on that fun pinwheel. You can also do all sorts of things here. You can fold forward. You can lean back. You could create a flow between the two.
All right, I hope you enjoy those. Try them out, have fun with them, give them a go in your classes, and grab that Align Your Life with Your Teachings PDF if you want to go over some areas, some checkpoints in your life. Make sure that your teaching is in alignment with how you're living so that you can really help others by being that grounded, confident, authentic teacher that you know you are, that you know they love, and they'll keep coming back for more. Catch you next time.